Section 1. The Cotton Gin and Expansion into the Old Southwest. In 1793, the scope of America was destined to change forever, when a man named Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. The cotton gin, short for cotton engine, made it easier for cotton farmers to remove seeds from their cotton. Instead of the process taking hours, it now took only minutes. The cotton gin revolutionized the cotton industry, increasing its marketability and profit. Cotton production became so profitable that it led to a phenomenon called Alabama fever. People were so excited to begin farming the newly profitable cash crop of cotton that they moved to the Black Belt region in droves. The Black Belt region consisted of southern states where the soil was fertile and cotton had high probability of growth. This Alabama fever led to such rapid expansion that the federal government began forcing Native Americans out of their homes to make way for Southern settlers and onto the Trail of Tears, where they were forced at gunpoint to move to reservations further west. The cotton gin, invented by Eli Whitney in 1793, made cotton growing profitable and was a driving force in the expansion of the South and textile industry. Section 2. The Question of Slavery. This growing demand for cotton led to a growing demand for another Southern commodity, slaves. Many Southern slave owners believed only African Americans could endure the arduous process of growing cotton. The rapidly expanding South needed more cheap labor to keep up with its cotton production. This raised an important question in the political caucus of the time. Should we allow the slave trade? The Southern outcry for cheap labor was increasing, but so was the clamor of Northern abolitionists to abolish this cruel institution. So, in order to appease everyone, the United States put a ban on all international slave trade in 1808. White Southerners believed only African American slaves could perform the arduous work of harvesting cotton. This helped build the Southern economy using free labor. To keep peace between abolitionists and slave owners, the United States government banned all international slave trade. Section 3. The Internal Slave Trade. Though international slave trade was outlawed, slaves were still a hot commodity. How? The internal slave trade. In fact, the ban on international slave trade led to a rapid increase in the use of and profitability of trading slaves domestically. Many slaves were uprooted and taken away from their families. In fact, every decade after 1820, 150 slaves were uprooted per annum, and the number climbed to 500,000 slaves uprooted per year by 1850. The internal slave trade was one of the most lucrative businesses of the time. The ban on international slave trade in 1808 led to an increase in the internal slave trade and further expansion of slavery in the United States. Section 4. The Economics of Slavery. The entire institution of slavery was lucrative. Cotton, the number one crop in the South, was grown directly through slave labor. Cotton made up 60% of American exports and made us $200 million a year. Our main trading partner was England. Both the United States and England were undergoing something called industrialization. This occurred during the era known as the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution was a period in which fundamental changes occurred in agriculture, textile, and metal manufacturing. This included the change mainly from human labor to machine labor. Textile industries were booming, leading to even more demand for the already popular cotton. And with demand for cotton came demand for slave labor. In the southern United States, owning slaves was not only the norm, but it was also a smart fiscal move. Free labor to produce the most profitable crop in the world. It was simply a no-brainer. The insatiable demand for cotton was mainly caused by the Industrial Revolution, which allowed for textile advances to help the ever-expanding South. Section 5. Cotton Culture. With industrialization occurring everywhere in the First World, the one oddity was the South. They didn't feel the need to industrialize, as the northern part of the United States took care of the textile end of cotton production. The Southern failure to industrialize was a choice, one that would later bite them. The North and the South were happy to remain stagnant in their way of life, refusing to change with the tide, and eventually leading to a problem bigger than anyone could have predicted: civil war. The South didn't industrialize like the North did, leading to an agriculturally dependent society in which cotton was king. A complete summary of my section. The cotton market in southern United States greatly expanded with the invent of the cotton gin. With the expanding market for cotton came an expanding slave market. This promoted internal slave trade. The Industrial Revolution greatly boosted the market for cotton, making it more profitable than ever. The South chose not to industrialize, as the northern half of the United States had already done so. This failure to industrialize would later bite the South during the Civil War. Okay, so now that the video's done, I just hope that you learned everything you could possibly need to know about King Cotton and Southern expansion. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me anytime after 4 o'clock on Tuesday night or Wednesday in class. If you don't have any questions or just want to learn more, you can always read this section in the book, Chapter 11, Section Number 1, King Cotton and Southern Expansion. And I think that's it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.